right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm here with a band that's been on the show, but not for a while. I think it's been a number of years since I last had you on the podcast, and that was back in the before times where I was actually meeting people in person. And I think we hung out at a Tim Hortons or something and talked about your music. But we're back again in this new dystopian future, and we're talking to each other over the internet. But yeah, I'm glad to have you back. I know you've been fairly active as a band over the last little bit, and I think the best way to start this off is if the three of you want to introduce yourselves and what you do in the band, just so people can put a name to the voice. So let's start with well, who wants to start? Really, anyone who wants to start, you can kick it off. Nobody. Crickets. That's the best answer. Let's go with Brian. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna make you you do the first intro here.
Okay, I'm Brian. I'm the singer and lyricist. I'm Jeremy. I play guitar and backup vocals.
Cool.
And I'm Dave. I play drums and strange noises and all that sort of stuff that no one wants to identify. Those are all mine.
Right on, right on. And you were the very difficult to Google band. Why? And they're very difficult to find in my own podcast website as well. I was trying to search for the previous episode, and of course, every time I've written the word "why" in any description of any episode, that comes up as well. So, but yeah, you're why, and as we talked about last time, you've been doing this for a while. You've been kind of plugging away for a number of years now. A lot of releases, a lot of big shows. What is sort of maybe a good place to start is we've all dealt with this past few years of kind of chaos with the pandemic and shows being canceled and it being difficult to rehearse and get together and all these things. What has that been like coming out of that for you as a band? Sort of realizing now you can actually, for the past year or so, you've been able to get together, be able to rehearse, write music, that kind of stuff.
Well, first of all, I'll say you can find us if you just type in whytheband.com or why the band on YouTube and we'll come up. So just
that's the trick, right?
There you go. Or song titles. What we did was during it, we did a lot of live streaming concert events where we just set up, get lights, and have some cameras set up, and we just do the songs. So it would be like a glorified dress rehearsal, and they were very sterile, but they were fun to do. But it just felt very weird to be kind of method acting to an empty room. So
yeah,
socially distanced, of course.
But yeah, it was that, and of course I think when we just before the second last shutdown, we quickly did Calloused Heart and recorded that and released it, and then it turned out really well. But since then, we've been working on a bunch of new music. Calloused Hearts kind of was the beginning of the next album. The last album was Despite All the Darkness, and it was 2019. So we do have a lot of material, but we decided to record and release another song, and that is our single Soul Declares, which kind of came out of one of these jam rehearsal sessions that we weren't broadcasting live on the internet. And so we've just really been in that kind of place of improvisation and letting music kind of just show up and then trying to not be in the way and just kind of collaborate and kind of just be, I guess, open and letting the songs happen. And I think the Soul Declares is the best example of just being available to each other and to the music. So the song has definitely got some chaos to it, but it's also got a beauty to it as well.
Do you think that kind of having that continuation throughout the pandemic, throughout the lockdowns, where you were doing live streams and we're still playing music together, even in a strange environment, that could kind of give you a leg up maybe over some other artists, in that you were, you didn't get rusty. You were constantly kind of working on
we got
stuff.
rusty. No, we got rusty. We still got, but I think what was hard was then we had to do a video for that song, and we had everyone shot it in different locations. So we drop off camera gear at Jeremy's place, and then he'd set it up. And I'd look over Zoom or over something and go, you want to adjust that light. And the same with Dave. So it was just like we shot separately. So we're never in the room together for that video. And now this new video, we got to be in the room and also with our two live assets who are incredible. Our keyboardist, Eric Nordquist, and Mandy Peters on bass. So we had just kind of like the live band for this new video. But I think it was a great way to stay locked in, but I think we were in a very creative mode, weren't we, Dave? I think we were just in a creative space during all of this, so that was helpful in the writing process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we could we were kind of free to do whatever, because at that point no one was doing shows, no one was, there was really the only people doing things were you'd see the odd something on Facebook or Zoom or something like that, but So yeah, we kind of had that freedom to do whatever we wanted to get the music out there. Um, it was nice during that time because I mean I was homeschooling kids at that point, so to have an adult conversation was kind of nice. Uh, Even though you try to be responsible, and at the same time, with what was going on, you try to be responsible, but at the same time, like if you just cut off all social connections with people, like you go nuts. So
Yeah,
this was a good way for us to connect with people online to some degree, as well as just hang out together. But
cool.
yeah, certainly creatively, um, it allowed us just to kind of jam whatever came out, and so I think this song was one of those that kind of Jeremy was noodling, and I just started playing, and Brian had gone to the washroom or something and came back, and we had a song written, and then he had the tough job of trying to go through his years of back catalog of lyrics that had not been used to.
This one was purely in the moment. I didn't have any lyrics. I had to go back and transcribe what I sang because I didn't know what I sang. So when you guys had it, I came in and we ran it again, and I just started ad-libbing. And I think I hit a few melodies that I liked and verses, and then I had to go back, and everyone was recording with their phones. So I said, everyone send me everything so I can go through it and try to transcribe and kind of cherry pick lyrics, or sometimes it was just noises. I wasn't actually singing words, but it always happens. We're in rehearsal, and Jeremy will start playing something, and I go, "Wow, that's cool. What is that?" And he'll go, "I don't know." And then I'll look at Dave, and he just says, "Stop," and then we just pull out our phones and start recording because we know that's going to be a song. And I've had lyrics recently come to me, brilliant idea, and then I'll get it down my after I drive here or go there, and I didn't, and it's gone. And I think that's what I've learned now. Just if it comes, document it because otherwise it's going to be gone. And yeah, I just don't want to wait. I don't know. Jeremy seems to remember everything he does, but I'm scared. I lose lyrics and ideas very quickly if I don't keep them recorded. So almost everything.
Is the way that song turned out? Is that a change from the way you would typically write? I mean, that sort of spontaneity of it, or is that similar to
It's
how
pretty
your previous songs have been
pretty
written?
typical. Like
Yeah.
often, yeah, a lot of the songs happen like that. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes he comes with an idea that it's been in his head all day, and he goes, I'm just playing with something I've been thinking about." But some of the songs really do happen to be just we're warming up, he's tuning up, and then something happens, or we're making an adjustment. We're gonna let's set the monitors again. I'm having a little trouble hearing myself because we're using a live PA in that room, and then something starts happening,
Yeah.
and so yeah, we've learned to just stop and be ready to deal with the music. It's like having an unexpected guest, and you're okay, stop, clear, make room for the at the table. Let's get this going. But I think it's very refreshing because it means that we have no idea what's coming. And it sounds very spiritual and ethereal. I mean, and I'm not trying to. I honestly, but when it's really good, if I don't recognize myself in the song, I kind of feel like, okay, I'm doing it right. Because if I hear myself trying to emote something, then I know it's not genuine. I'd much rather be surprised by something afterwards and go, wow, I really felt that, and I wasn't thinking. I was just going with the moment. I wasn't getting in the way of the song. And I think with you too, it's that. And then Dave, it just seems like we kind of intrinsically know what to do, and it's also a safe place that if someone does something stupid, it's like, yeah, okay, we'll circle back and fix that, or it's okay to fall down and stumble because we're all kind of heading towards the same goal. So it's a real
Yeah.
safe place to fail.
Well, I like what you said about that kind of intrinsically knowing what each other's doing. That's something that I guess you just gain from the amount of time spent together, the amount of time working together and writing together and performing together. You have that kind of muscle memory almost of like you know what's going to happen. Not specifically as far as lyrics or chords, but just the vibe you're getting off each other is kind of it's built in right at this point.
I think it's exciting when something
Yeah.
surprises you, though. Have you found that when you're doing something that you're surprised yourself when you've played something and went, "Oh, I didn't," or are you a little more methodical than that? Because I'm always surprised by all of it. So
Yeah, I don't know. Surprised. Yeah, sometimes I suppose.
he's a genius, so it doesn't really.
Well, it helps to have one of
No,
those in your
but I
band, right?
mean,
Yeah.
like it really is like the best. Uh, Most of the best songs usually are the ones where it kind of just it comes to you, and you don't necessarily grind at it. And like if the song is like just not coming together, and you're working like you just trying all these different things and just trying too hard. Really,
Yeah.
you know, you just have to be just open to just like something to come through you, and just be ready for it. Really, when it happens.
And effort doesn't sound very attractive or enjoyable. You know, you shouldn't hear struggle. I mean, there should be struggle maybe in emotion, but you shouldn't
Yeah.
feel like these guys are trying really hard to make this work. It should feel like natural, like expression. Like when you're watching an actor, you shouldn't catch them acting, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. Well, it's what you said about it being genuine too. It can definitely see. I've heard bands for sure that the emotion even sounds forced because you know that they're trying to make you feel a certain right way rather than this is how they're feeling and it's coming through the music and it's more organic that way.
Well, I even find that with lyrics, sometimes I'm going, I have no idea really what I mean until after I've listened to the song for a while, or until someone says to me, "Oh, this song for me really kind of talked about this," and I'm like, "Oh, I guess that's what it's about," because I don't know, and I think there's sort of that ethereal, spiritual aspect of I'm just sort of being available and useful, and I don't really know. Maybe you always hope that you're not just writing. I mean, I have nothing against pop songs and that, but I just don't want to write some song about my car. I'd like to write something that maybe speaks to something that
Yeah.
someone's going through, but also speaks to maybe being bored. There's nothing wrong writing a song about being bored, but just so it's a genuine, honest emotion. But to this song, I still am figuring out what Soul Declares is fully about. Um, and I'm going to keep figuring it out. For me, it feels sort of like some sort of a deconstruction or reconstruction of my worldview and of how I see myself, and maybe others see themselves, and sometimes you if you look deep beyond your own visceral kind of construct of who you are, you realize, hey, maybe there's nothing going on under here. There's just a lot of fancy paint job. There's all icing and no cake, and I think that was sort of a thing for me. I wanted to kind of Callous Heart talked about the lack of empathy, and I was trying to kind of connect with that. This one felt more about like, is there any depth to who I am, and if so, if it isn't, then maybe it's time to start building something. Anyway, so I'll figure the song out as we go. But right now, it's just a lot of fun to play live, and
Yeah.
it's very exciting.
Is there kind of a balancing act between um, having that kind of emotional content in the lyrics and then also wanting it to be fun to play live, wanting it to be something that people are going to nod their head to, that they're going to get up out their seats for, and have that kind of the feels good and you can dance to it, but also has a deeper meaning when someone actually sits down maybe with headphones and listens to it
Yeah,
in more in depth.
I think Dave kind of handles that department. We'll get into it and it'll become grandiose, and then Dave will come along and just make it just bring and beat the crap out of us with his drums, and then we go, oh yeah, okay, this is really kick. Without Dave's intuitiveness when it comes to like what we're doing, because some songs you're thinking, well, this is gonna be kind of a mid-tempo ballad, and then Dave starts playing one, oh, maybe not, or vice versa. He'll say, no, this has got to be less. And so I think Dave really sets the standard for that and how fun it's going to be, because we're just having fun watching him play. Don't you find that, Dave? You're kind of the guy when it comes to that.
Well, it needs to be fun, right? Like if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then like I don't know, we quit and write a bunch of music for commercials and stuff like that. But I mean, it's like if you can enjoy it, like what's the point of sharing it, really? Um, so I mean, even if you're to sit through one of our practices, well, I don't know if anyone could actually sit through one of the practices. They're just organized chaos and um, I don't know how many. Well, I don't want to throw Brian under the bus here too much with with some of what goes on at the practices, but it's just yeah, it's a lot. It's fun, and if you don't enjoy it at the end of the day, why are you doing it? Um, and
It's
yes,
not fulfilling either, right?
it's great that there's there's some of the music has had an impact for people on people and Brian's been a part of this the longest, so I mean he can speak to some of the stuff that's where people have come back to him and said, hey, listen, this song made a difference for me, and yes, in the end, that for me, that's the big thing. But if you're not enjoying it along the way, and it's just then it's too much like work, and
Yeah.
and rock and roll is not supposed to be about work. It's supposed to be about that, and it's an expression, really. So
It's abandoned too, and
yeah.
it should be a way to purge some emotions. Some people go to a gym and punch a bag. I think with us, we get it all out through the music, and it does feel euphoric sometimes. And sometimes we'll do something and I think this is probably not going to ever be anything, but it sure felt good while we were doing this jam or having a moment. And some stuff we've done and then just went, it didn't work, so we left it, and then we came back. Like I think Callous Heart was a song we kind of went, don't know what to do with that. And then we came back in a rehearsal one day and it just, you started playing it and it just worked. So sometimes things need to ferment, I think, before you can actually get them to be anything good.
What is sort of the sign for you as a band that something is good? Like, oh, I mean, you know, so like you said, some of these songs you come back to, so it's not the song itself that's the issue. It's that for whatever reason it didn't hit with you at that time. What sort of the is there like a golden rule for this song is going to work as a song, or is it just sort of different from each song to each song?
I think we hit a wall sometimes, but then the wall disappears over time.
Yeah.
I don't think we've abandoned anything completely. Like I don't think anything that Jeremy's come up with has been abandoned. I think we've ended up going back and resurrecting things. So I don't think we've ever had anything went, oh, that's just never going to be anything. So far, I mean, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
I mean, do you find that it's that I don't think we've really abandoned anything that we've been writing in the past little while.
Well,
or anything you haven't shown us, maybe.
Yeah, well, we have abandoned, I think, some stuff, but I think we've all just forgotten about it because it needs to be forgotten.
Well, or it needs to be worked on. It needs to be retooled.
But there has been, stuff that was, well, I'm thinking of one of our songs that when we first wrote it, it's not on the other album, but it was very different from what it is now. We've like completely reworked it, and
so all of them.
So no, well, no, not all.
I know, not really.
You know, and like, sometimes there's certain kind of parts that I think, oh, this is a good guitar line, and then later on it just kind of, I have an epiphany and I'm like, oh no, that's actually a bass line.
All right.
And it completely just changes everything. So sometimes there's just the pieces have to like sit in their own corner and ferment for a while everything is
take a time out
together.
Yeah, think about what you've done. We'll get back to you when you've got more clarity.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, you got to put it in the penalty box for a bit, and then it comes back out and it's something new. What's with this single? You got the new single. You're obviously pushing this pretty hard and getting, on social media and everything. I'm seeing a lot of stuff. What is this leading up to? Is this leading up to a new album? Is this leading up to more singles coming out in the relatively near future?
I think it's a matter of money. We have enough songs. We could start recording an album now.
Right.
We just don't have the funds because it costs to record. I always thought that when it was with the guy from Spotify was saying, well, people need to put out more content. Well, that's great if you're Taylor Swift or Coldplay or something, but we don't have that disposable money just to throw out a song. So we have to really be deliberate in what we're doing. I mean, if we had the cash, we'd go in and start recording tomorrow. And but what's, I guess, the blessing of this is that we end up kind of getting a chance to really refine the songs we think, and there's songs we know are ready to go, but there's some that are still refining because we've been playing them live. We have songs in our set list that aren't recorded yet, but they've become like regulars in the show, and people respond to them, and someone will say to me, oh, when can I buy that? It's not out yet. I mean, that's what happened with Soul Declares. We had people saying, oh, that song you guys have, it sounds like kind of like Radiohead but on speed. Where can I get that? And it's like, well, we have to record it. So thank goodness we got it recorded, because the song's been an earworm for all of us, and I can't stop thinking about it. So now it's out, and the video is out, and the video shoot came together so fast. I direct our videos, and it was one of the easiest. I mean, there's a lot of setting up, but it was one of the easiest shoots I've ever done, and I think it came out better than anything we've ever done. The ones I've struggled over don't look as good as this one that just really came together. So, but yeah, we would record right now. So. Yeah, we just need to keep playing shows, and every time we play a show, money goes back into the fund to keep the recordings going.
Well, and I think what you're describing too is a pretty common problem that a lot of bands are having. I mean, half the people I have on the show or more are in the same situation where they have music. It's just a matter of finding a way to raise the funds to get it out there. And I thought it was interesting what you said too about the video shoot and the way it kind of organically happened, and it's very much how you describe the songwriting process as well, of songs like this, in that it just kind of it came out, and it was smooth, and everything sort of worked in your favor, whether you intended it to or not. So that's
Yeah.
kind of cool to hear that side of things has a
Well,
similar.
the video shouldn't have happened because we had to move it up. Like we found out Mandy, our bassist, said, "Well, you're gonna be in the video." So I don't need me in the video. Yeah, we're gonna have you in the video. And she played on the single. This is the first time she's actually played her bass part. Like she
Okay.
usually plays her parts live. She comes in and her and Eric come in and they fill out our sound. But Jeremy tends to cover a lot of the guitar parts and things. But you can't play everything live. And so we had been doing it all summer. And I think you looked at her and we were about to go record. And you said, "Well, just why don't you record? You've been playing it more than I have. I've been focused on guitars. Just play it." And so she laid it down, and we're in the studio, and she goes, "I've never done this before." And I said, "What?" He says, "You've played for years." She goes, "No, I've never recorded in the studio." So
Oh,
it was
wow.
her first session, and it was her first video shoot. And yeah, it was just kind of wow. But she was leaving town for like 12 days, and I thought, wait, that won't line up with the release. We have to shoot the video soon. And then I looked and I realized we'll have to shoot it this Friday. That was like 2 days away. So I literally had to gather together lights and things and lock down the location and make sure everyone was available. And she was literally packing and then drove to the shoot, did her part, and then drove home and then flew out.
Wow.
So it shouldn't have worked. I was thinking, oh, this is not going to work. We can't rush this kind of stuff. And it just really, the chaos played in. We had another actor lined up and didn't work out. And then I got Chris Reed. He was available and he did it. And he's a friend of mine. He did a great job as the character in the video. So yeah, it shouldn't have worked, but it did. But that's sometimes the magic of creativity or artistic expression is it's the paint you spill that ends up being the art piece, and the one you're putting on the canvas isn't. Maybe it's what's on the floor that's the art. So
Yeah, that ends up being the best stuff a lot of the times. The thing that wasn't originally intended to be the thing, and yeah, for sure. So at the time we're recording this, sorry, at the time people are hearing this, the single's out, the video's out. People can check this out. What's the best way? I mean, I know at this point people listen to music in so many different platforms and so many different ways. If you had an ideal way you would want someone to check out your music, where would you send them online? I mean, would it be to the website? Would it be a certain streaming service? Do you have a preference?
sure. I mean, all the links. I mean, all our social media has our link tree, so it links you to everything. So you've got
Okay.
all the different. So you can go to whytheband.com, whytheband.com, or you can go to our YouTube channel and just look up Why the Band. And there's all the links there as well. And you can see all our videos, and there's some live performance stuff. And that way you can pretty much find anything. If you find us on Instagram, it's __ music. But yeah, as I said, it's pretty easy to just go to the website and you'll find all the links and come see us live. We just played a show at the Tap House, which we've been loving playing there with. We played with Paper Machetes and a band we played with before called the 1221.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there's just it's such a great scene here. I just wish more of these artists were getting heard on, if it matters anymore, broadcast radio, but there's so many great artists that need to be heard, and they're not. So shows like this really do help in getting the word out about these artists, and share this podcast if you want people to know about great bands, or you see someone who's in a musical rut. These podcasts really do kind of point you to great local music. So
Well,
thank you.
yeah, thanks. That's kind of the goal. That's the goal of this, is to just shine a light on people doing cool stuff locally. And I mean, most of the bands that I talk to are independent DIY bands, and that's just because the vast majority of people who make music in Winnipeg of all genres are doing it themselves. And it's cool to see that there are bands like you guys who've been doing this for a lot longer than some of these other bands, and you're still plugging away at it, and you're still making new music, still playing shows. The good thing about this being a podcast is someone could hear it the day it comes out, or they could hear it a few months from now or years from now. What do you have coming up as far as do you have any big shows happening in the relatively near future, if someone's listening to this somewhat close to the time period that we've released it?
I don't have a DeLorean, so I don't know
Of course.
where we are in
I think I set that up poorly, but yeah.
space-time continuum. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've set me up for failure.
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah.
I don't know where we're going, Doc.
Where are you playing in 2027? Yeah.
Yes. Thanks.
Well,
that's when we get our Juno, and then we just go, no, we don't want it, and then we turn it down and we act very aloof.
Right.
And we go on tour in a really beat up van, and we refuse to use a tour bus.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, we're going to keep it real because
Yeah.
that's being real as opposed to owning up to your ambitions. Um, um, we don't know. We'll see where it takes us. I know we were saying just at the last rehearsal, we were saying, you know what? I guess we're done for December, or I guess we're done for this month, unless something happens, or we get offered a New Year's Eve show, or we get offered. So we definitely gonna start applying for festivals. We had a great time playing some festivals this summer. And our camera stopped. Just one
It's all
second.
good.
It'll come
The audio
back.
is still working. We're all good.
It's
Yeah, there
coming
you go.
back. There it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's up to, I guess, us applying and hopefully getting in. There's still, I find it in the scene here, it's great and people are very supportive, but there's still a little bit of gatekeeping. There's still a little bit of it's hard to get through to certain things, and so you have to keep proving yourself, and that's okay. I don't mind proving myself. That's why I always loved opening for bigger artists, because you get to kind of prove yourself to their audience. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a matter of you just do enough shows and you play with some great artists, and then they keep doing shows and you do shows. I think that's the best way, is just to keep playing live. And I think that's when I have my most fun, is live. I think Jeremy does too. And we've been playing around with wireless experiences as well, and him wandering off into the crowd and going, well, I guess then I'm going too. That's been fun. Poor Davis has to sit on the stage, but yeah, if he goes wireless, then there's just everything stops. So he gets up and walks into the crowd. But yeah, we love playing together. We really like each other. We feel like a family. I love these people. I love working with them. I love writing with them. I feel my life's better for knowing them, and I think I'm a better writer because of them. And they're always so encouraging. I mean, when the video was finished, I sent out an early copy. It's like, oh, this is brilliant, and they're always so very supportive of, not that we're, patting each other on the back when we shouldn't be. I mean, there's definitely a place for criticism and critique, but it's always, if you've done something good, you know about it. We don't hold back from each other. We're very much about supporting each other and being encouraging, because you need to know how you're doing. And so we all care about each other, and we care about each other's creativity, and we care about each other's mindset, and so they feel comfortable enough to play and to fail and to fall down. Because if you're not comfortable to fail, you're not going to take any chances. I think that's the biggest thing. So if we feel so comfortable with each other that we can really screw up, and it's not really screwing up, it's sort of just fumbling around, trying to find the song where it should go next. And that's really great, to have that kind of safety, that kind of feeling of camaraderie, and also the fact that there's no failing. It's just kind of, we're all kind of finding and moving the puzzle pieces around. So
That's what keeps it from being a job and being more of just a genuine, again, with that, going back to the genuineness, a genuine creative expression, because you're actually happy to be there, and you're doing what you want to do, rather than feeling like you have to do something, or you have to have a certain sound, or you have to be recording a song a certain way.
I think there's a weird thing about the success. There's this definition of success, and I've always felt like success for us has always been a song well written, a song that's good enough to release.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable releasing this. That's success. And not being trapped in the kind of the navel gazing and self evaluation, and you can't get past, I can't get past that, this is this, and you get to the point where you just sort of pick it apart until the statue breaks. And I think also too, for us, it's a matter of, does it feel like it's honest and real, and would someone connect to this? And so our feeling is, if one person listens to the song and goes, hey, I really love that song, it really means something to me, that's success. If someone says it gives me comfort, or it was the soundtrack to my recovery, or I listen to that song and I don't feel bad, or I listen to that song and I feel sad, but it's good that I feel sad. I just, whatever, if someone's connecting with it on a certain level, that's success. So charts and getting to play the big shows, or the fame thing, or whatever that is. We never did this for wealth or fame. We've always done it for just to make great music, so that when we're gone, we leave a heritage of great music. We don't want to be a band that's just, we'll write songs so we can have an excuse to wear cool clothes and stand on stage and do concerts. That's kind of, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
This feels like a band that we do it because the music compels us, and then we go, well, let's do some cool stuff on stage to honor, or to live up to these songs. And I always feel like I'm trying to live up to these songs. So we just do the very best we can to present them with the dignity and the respect we have for these songs. I think it sounds sort of, we're outside of it. We do feel outside of these songs sometimes. So I can't really explain it. I don't really feel like they belong to me. Once they're out there, they're kind of out there, and we just have to kind of do service
Yeah.
for them, for the people who listen to them.
Well, and it's open to those people who listen to them, and they take it in and interpret it their own way, and the song means to them what it means to them, and you kind of have no control over that. Once it's you've created and put it in the world, and then it's people will do what they will with it.